Well, this is like a flip of American Gothic. I
Yes.
like that.
Very much so.
So what can people expect in your show if, it sounds like it is evocative as well as provocative. So what's going on?
They can certainly expect classic horror stories that just happen to be coincidentally set in Melbourne suburbia, but they can also expect stories about Melbourne suburbia that are quite darkly and to some degree funny and horrific.
Do you
Both ends of the spectrum.
These are great stickers, and I'm looking forward to seeing it. I'm just wondering, is there anything you look up to in Cabaret, or even if it's just an influence in somewhere in the back?
Yeah, that's a really good question.
Yeah.
All manner of things. I think Cabaret, I quite often separate it from looking up to various singers that I like who inspire me, or artists as a whole, and certainly comedic writers like League of Gentlemen definitely gets a big tick from me.
Yeah, actually, we're a lot like League of Gentlemen.
We are.
Yeah,
except one of
I
us
just
is
realised
not.
that.
And they don't sing. But other than that, we're very similar. Yeah, in terms of the darkness and the theatrical nature of what we do.
Yeah, and just the idea of little snapshots of horror story, because that's what it basically is. It's a string of different tales that we're telling, and it has a lot of that kind of grotesque, but at the same time quite homely kind of horror to it. So yeah, I'm quite proud of that now.
Yes.
Yeah, homely horror.
But oddly enough, not the sort of things that, which I think is very like. We also knew each other through. I was in a group called the Beautiful Losers, and we did gigs at the same time. And we almost always did, if we weren't writing one of our own songs, we would do a Nick Cave song. And Nick Cave, with his very funny, very macabre sense of humour, is a big, it's in that kind of terrain.
Ballads.
Bowie, Ricky Gervais, take your pick.
Yeah.
People who push the buttons, I think, but for a reason.
Yeah. I think to that end, for me personally, I find that I draw inspiration for Cabaret from very different sources that aren't Cabaret at all.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, because if you think about it, Cabaret is pretty much just a piano and a singer, or however many singers, two in our case. But you could... The essence of what makes you special is what makes you different from that. So I think a lot of people will look outside of Cabaret, outside of the conventions of Cabaret, and then see, okay, what can I draw from film? What elements can I draw from film? What elements can I draw from theatre? And sort of go, okay, cool, well, what can we bring in to make us with a piano a hell of a lot more interesting?
Exactly.
Well, this is sounding so exciting. The Dirty Thieving Gypsies, Australian horror story. And it's a short festival, as we mentioned, Tuesday 17th and Wednesday 18th of July. So get your tickets for next Tuesday and Wednesday. It's happening 8:30pm at Chapel Off Chapel, which is a wonderful space for it.
Yes, loft.
Yeah. And if you're driving and you forget all of this, just go to melbournecabaret.com and just look up Australian Horror Story. But you got a little snippet for us?
Well, yes, given that this is a spoken word forum, we've written, the show is almost entirely original songs and text.
Yeah.
So we have something that I think may be quite appropriate for you.
Great.
We've got some songs on disc as well, but today, spoken word, all I need is my fingers for this to do some clicking.
And how much reverb can you put, how much echo can you put on the mic?
Oh.
Can we get some general spookiness? Or maybe we'll just get Karin to breathe.
Yeah, that's good.
Like an echo chamber. Anyway, you'll get the general gist. It is horror after all. Okay, here we go. And seeing as I don't have to read it off my computer, I should be able to click in time. The spokes on his bike are so well greased that you'll never hear him coming till it's too late. There's meat in his green Enviro bag, but it's not the kind of meat he'll ever eat. He'll leave your Twitter feed blocked up with droll, urbane tweets. Enviro bag. Inedible meats. He's got a chip on his shoulder and a mug of green tea. Got a raging case of existential ennui. He don't wear socks, not 'cause he's Jack Kerouac. It's so that when he slips off his shoes, he can silently stick his knife in your back. Kerouac. Green tea. They used to say that if you had a thick beard, it meant you were hiding something. Well, his beard is no Fitzroy fashion fad. He's got plenty to hide. He's the hipster, killer, and he relishes the irony implied. He's a vegan, non-leather-wearing, non-nut-eating celiac, but don't let that fool you. He's a homicidal maniac. He'll post about GLBT rights on his Apple Mac, but he don't give a shit-take. No, he don't give a shit-take. He wants his secret pound of flesh, and he'll get his pound of flesh. At nightfall, not even voting Greens can save your skins. He'll recycle the shit out of you, then put you into the right bins. The hipster, killer, commits eco-friendly sins. He'll play some urban beats as he beats you to a pulp. He'll bore you with high art concepts, then hack your legs to a stump. Urban, urbane, Keith Urban, lame. Ever been strangled by ironic flannel? He rides on public transport, but his cap teeth dazzle. You'll be stricken with neuralgia as he babbles about 80s nostalgia. He's addicted to talking about the significance of living. He's got an unfinished creative writing degree, but you don't want to be next in his existential murder spree. He's always fucking right. You should have known all along, till day turns to night, then he's a whole world of wrong. Vintage vinyl, non-prescription glasses, soy chai lattes, jumpers worn below arses. They seem so very harmless, like a Ramones t-shirt on a dog. But one day you too may end up as organic pet food, sold on some wanker's blog.
Wonderful stuff. And do go along and see these guys. Karin Muiznieks.
Yeah.
Getting there?
Very good.
Karlis Zaid.
Very good. And not forgetting, because he's been erstwhile at Adelaide Cabaret Festival and other places, John Thorne. If you can imagine what I just did with John Thorne noodling some really funky jazz.
That was beautiful stuff. So, yeah, Australian Horror Story at the Melbourne Cabaret Festival. Check out more information at melbournecabaret.com. Thanks so much, guys, for coming in.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
We're going to be talking